Welcome to part 3 of our journey through the 48 laws of power. Having learned how to survive and gain influence in earlier tiers, we now move to the domination stage. Bold strategies to control outcomes and seize power outright. This is about playing offense in the power game. We'll summarize laws 25 through 36 in a simple, storytelling way, with real examples and a few direct quotes from Robert Greene's book for flavor. Law 25. Recreate yourself. Power is often about self-reinvention. Rather than letting others or society define you, craft your own identity. As Greene writes, do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. History offers a great example. In 1831, a young French woman named Aurore Dupin left her unhappy marriage to reinvent herself in Paris as a writer. But Parisian literary society was dominated by men. So Aurore boldly transformed into George Sand, adopting a male pen name and even wearing men's clothing in public. This dramatic self-recreation, complete with cigars and bohemian flair, made her impossible to ignore. As George Sand, she commanded attention and became a celebrated novelist, something unlikely if she had stuck to the role of a provincial married woman. The lesson: create the image that serves your ambition. Design your persona deliberately, larger than life if need be, so you control how others perceive you. Just as an actor can play a role to influence the audience, you can play the role of your choosing in life's power plays. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. To dominate without backlash, appear blameless. You must seem a paragon of civility and efficiency. Your hands are never soiled by mistakes and nasty deeds, writes Greene. In practice, this means using others as tools or scapegoats to do any dirty work. When something goes wrong, find a scapegoat to take the blame. When something risky or unpleasant must be done, deploy a cat's paw, a pawn to do it for you. This way, your own reputation stays spotless, as if you never make a mistake. For example, Queen Cleopatra of Egypt leveraged the might of Julius Caesar as her cat's paw in her civil war. Instead of fighting her brother Ptolemy, Cleopatra aligned with Caesar and let his army defeat Ptolemy. Cleopatra gained the throne while publicly keeping her hands clean of the deed. Likewise, powerful rulers throughout history kept trusted lieutenants or ministers to take the fall for failures, the fall guy, while they themselves remained unsullied. The fable of the monkey and the cat's paw illustrates this well. A monkey convinces a cat to pull chestnuts from a fire. The cat burns its paw, while the monkey gets the chestnuts. In power, let someone else's paw get burned, not yours. However, Greene warns, use these tactics subtly. If people catch you manipulating behind the scenes, the mask will fall and you'll be seen as a puppeteer, which can destroy your authority. So dominate through others' efforts, but never let the puppeteering show. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe. Create a cult-like following. People want to believe in something, be it a cause, a faith, or a leader. To wield power at a dominant level, tap into that desire. People have an overwhelming desire to believe in something. Become the focal point of such desire by offering them a cause, a new faith to follow. Your new belief system will bring you untold power. In other words, become a prophet or visionary figure for others. Throughout history, savvy figures have built cult-like followings. by offering sweeping visions and compelling myths. Consider the charismatic leaders of new religious movements or even visionary business leaders. They promise hope, excitement, and a clear doctrine for followers. For example, in the 18th century, the mystic Count Cagliostro wowed French high society by claiming to possess ancient Egyptian magical secrets. He spoke in grand, vague terms about enlightenment and immortality, held mysterious rituals with robed acolytes, and stoked people's imagination. By keeping his promises lofty, if hazy, and draping them in mystique, he gained a devoted following and their money. The specifics don't matter as much as the enthusiasm and faith you generate. As Greene advises, keep your message simple but grand. Use theatrics and symbolism, and if possible, create us versus them dynamics so your followers feel part of a special group. Modern cult brands and political cults of personality do this as well. They make devotees feel like they're on a mission, unified and inspired. The caution: don't let people see the crass profit or power motive behind your cult. Disguise it as all for some higher good. If done right, you can direct masses of people because they want to believe. You merely channel this human tendency to your advantage. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. When the time comes to act, be bold. Half measures and hesitation erode power. Greene's dictum: if you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Timidity is dangerous. Better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold. No one honors the timid. Boldness has an almost magical effect in dominating situations. It intimidates opponents and inspires confidence in allies. History is full of cases where sheer bold moves led to victory against the odds. Hernán Cortés, upon arriving in the New World in 1519, boldly scuttled his own ships, leaving his men no option of retreat. This audacious act, burning the ships, terrified the Aztecs and motivated his troops to conquer or die, a gamble that paid off. Likewise, in battles or negotiations, the side that moves assertively usually seizes the initiative. Even a bold bluff can work simply because it's unexpected and forceful. In contrast, if you act with doubt or half-heart, you signal weakness. It's like approaching a wild animal. Show fear, and it pounces. Bold action, even if it incurs mistakes, keeps you in control, because you can follow up with even more boldness to cover it. Think of a daring entrepreneur who launches a crazy-sounding project with total confidence. Often people will support or at least defer to them, whereas a cautious planner may be overlooked. Boldness builds an image of strength. One tip from the book: make the bolder the lie, the better. A huge ask or audacious claim actually appears more credible sometimes because people assume you wouldn't be so brazen unless you were sure. When negotiating, dare to ask for the moon. You might just get it. The key is commitment. Once you commit, do not waver. In sum, take action with swagger and courage. The world often bends to the bold. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Bold action must pair with strategic foresight. To dominate outcomes, think many moves ahead, right to the end game. The ending is everything. Plan all the way to it. By planning to the end, you will not be overwhelmed by circumstances, and you will know when to stop. It's like chess. A master doesn't just think about the next move, but the sequence leading to checkmate. If you charge forward without a clear end plan, you may win in the moment but lose in the long run. Take the cautionary tale of Hannibal, the brilliant Carthaginian general. He boldly marched elephants over the Alps and won battles against Rome. Boldness. But he lacked a plan to finish the war. He never devised how to capture Rome itself. Without a planned end, his initial domination fizzled. Rome recovered and eventually defeated him. Greene urges us to foresee obstacles, twists of fortune, and unintended consequences. Who might turn against you later? Could today's victory seed tomorrow's rivalry? A dominant player anticipates these and has a plan. For instance, if you aim to rise to CEO, envision what you'll do after you get the position and how to secure your legacy. Planning to the end also tells you when to stop, an often overlooked aspect. Once you achieve a goal, pressing further without plan can backfire. We'll see this again in Law 47. So map out your moves from start to finish. This doesn't mean rigidity. You can adapt, but always keep the ultimate goal clear, so every step aligns. Domination is often lost by those who won't stop, or who get surprised by something they failed to anticipate. Don't let short-term triumph blind you to the end game. Chart the course fully, and you'll steer events rather than be swamped by them. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. At the domination stage, you want your power and skill to appear natural, even divine, rather than the result of sweat and strategy. Your actions must seem natural and executed with ease. All the toil and practice that go into them must be concealed. When you act effortlessly, as if you could do much more. The appearance of effortlessness increases your mystique and keeps others from seeing your tricks. Think of a great magician. The show astonishes because the audience never sees the countless hours of rehearsal, only the smooth performance. Likewise, a powerful person should never show their work. By hiding the strings and hard work, you make your talent look unique. In the Italian Renaissance, this quality was termed sprezzatura, a kind of studied carelessness that made hard tasks look easy. Michelangelo might spend months secretly laboring over a sculpture, but when unveiled, it seemed a masterpiece born of effortless genius, leaving rivals awestruck and unable to figure out his methods. A fun anecdote: Pablo Picasso was once asked by someone to sketch a simple drawing. Picasso completed it in a few minutes and handed it over with a request for a large sum of money. The patron was shocked. Why so much for a few minutes' work? Picasso replied, "It didn't take me minutes. It took me 40 years." He was highlighting that his lifetime of practice made it possible to create art that quickly. Yet to the outside eye, Picasso's brilliance seemed almost innate, which only enhanced his aura. So, in your own pursuits, never brag about how hard you're working or how difficult something was. Don't show the perspiration, only the inspiration. If you struggle, do it behind closed doors. In public, float gracefully like a swan, hiding the furious paddling below the surface. This way, you project godlike capacity. And others say, "Wow, they just have it," rather than pitying or understanding your exhaustive effort. And if no one sees exactly how you do what you do, they can't easily imitate or attack your methods. Mystery and ease equals power. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards. You deal. A powerful dominator doesn't just strike boldly. They also subtly manipulate situations so that whatever others do, you win. The key is to box in your targets with limited choices, all of which benefit you. Greene puts it this way: Give people options that come out in your favor, whichever one they choose. It's like being a crafty card dealer. You stack the deck and offer cards to an opponent, but both cards secretly favor you. They feel they have free will, but you've predetermined the outcome. A simple example. A parent tells a child, "Would you like to clean your room now or in 15 minutes?" Both options result in a clean room. The parent wins either way, but the child feels in control. Plan in advance so that whatever scenarios arise, heads you win, tails you also win. It's soft domination. People won't realize their moves were choreographed by you. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. Truth and reality can be harsh. Many people prefer sweet illusions. Thus, another way to control outcomes is by offering the dream or fantasy they crave, rather than blunt reality. Greene observes, "Life is so harsh and distressing that people who can manufacture romance or conjure up fantasy are like oases in the desert. Everyone flocks to them. There is great power in tapping into the fantasies of the masses." Franz Mesmer, for instance, an 18th century physician, claimed he could cure illness with animal magnetism, an invisible force. His theatrical seances with dim lights, ethereal music, and magnetized rods were far more entrancing than traditional medicine. High society patients lined up for this seemingly miraculous cure. Promise the moon instead of mundane reality. People choose magical stories over inconvenient truth. Sell transformation and hidden shortcuts rather than hard work and gradual progress. Keep fantasies grounded in just enough plausibility that people don't question them, but dreamy enough to enchant. Law 33. Find everyone's weak spot. Every person, no matter how strong, has a weak spot, an insecurity or secret desire that you can exploit. To control outcomes boldly, become a detective of the heart. Find the thumbscrew that, when turned, puts someone in your power. Greene writes, "Everyone has a weakness. It can also be a small, secret pleasure. Either way, once found, it is a thumbscrew you can turn to your advantage." This sounds dark, but remember, others might be doing the same to you in power games. Historic spies and court intriguers excelled at this. Emperor Napoleon's foreign minister, Talleyrand, for instance, was great at this. He would study foreign diplomats and figure out their weak spots. One person loved compliments, another had gambling debts, another had a secret girlfriend. Then Talleyrand would use this knowledge to get what he wanted in negotiations. Watch how people behave. Listen to what they say. They often give clues about what makes them happy or upset. Once you know someone's pressure point, you can use it when you really need their cooperation. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. Power often is a reflection of confidence and self-image. If you carry yourself like you deserve the throne, many will accept that you do. The way you carry yourself will often determine how you are treated. By acting regally and confident of your powers, you make yourself seem destined to wear a crown. History shows that people who assert their self-worth tend to get others' respect. A great example is Christopher Columbus, before his famous voyage. Columbus was not of high birth, but when seeking funding from the Spanish monarchs, he acted like a man who knew he would discover a new world. He boldly demanded titles of nobility, governorship of lands, and a share of riches as conditions for his expedition. Such audacity from a mere foreign navigator was shocking, but his unshakable demeanor made the monarchs view him as someone destined for greatness, and they granted his terms. Stand straight, don't fuss or fret, and don't demean yourself with cheap behavior. A historical anecdote: Louis XIV of France called himself the Sun King and cultivated a majestic presence, elaborate dress, controlled movements, a sense that he had all the time in the world. He received flattery not because he screamed for it, but because he embodied kingliness. If you act like you're worth a fortune, people may start to believe it. By believing in your own greatness, you telegraph to the world that you must be treated with deference. It often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in the game of power. Law 35. Master the art of timing. Domination isn't just what you do, but when you do it. Knowing how to be patient and when to strike is a hallmark of powerful strategists. Never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control. Always seem patient, as if you know that everything will come to you eventually. Learn to stand back when the time is not yet ripe, and to strike fiercely when it has reached fruition. Think of timing like a weapon. The same action can have drastically different effects depending on when it's deployed. For example, an ambitious general who attacks too early might be crushed, but if he waits for the enemy to overextend or for winter to set in, he can win easily. Warren Buffett, the famed investor, often says, "One key to success is waiting for the right pitch." He might sit on cash for years until a perfect opportunity arises, then invest heavily, striking at fruition. In contrast, impatient investors who chase every trend often fail. In history, consider Mao Zedong's guerrilla strategy. When his forces were weak, Mao avoided big battles and bided time, even doing long retreats. When circumstances changed, Japanese invasion, then later a civil war, when the enemy was stretched, Mao struck hard at the opportune moment. He essentially flowed with time, not against it. To master timing, detect the rhythms of your environment. Is the trend moving for you or against you? Are people around you tense or relaxed? Patience is crucial. Do not rush events out of anxiety, but be decisive when the time is right. When you sense an opening, attack completely. Remember, time is a tool. Manage your own impatience and make others impatient. As the old saying goes, timing is everything, and in power, the one who can wait for just the right beat often runs the show. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. At the domination level, you must not waste energy on the unwinnable or trivial. The quickest way to lose power is to get tangled in petty fights or show obsession over something you can't get. This law teaches the strength of selective ignorance and contempt. Greene advises, if there is something you want but cannot have, show contempt for it. The less interest you reveal, the more superior you seem. In practice, that means if an opportunity slips away or someone insults you, shrug it off publicly, act as though it doesn't matter, or that you never wanted it in the first place. Showing disdain is a power move. It puts you above the fight. There's an old fable illustrating this. A fox tries desperately to reach some high grapes, but fails. Walking away, he says, "Ah, they're probably sour anyway." This is the origin of sour grapes, pretending not to care about what you can't get. In real power dynamics, by not acknowledging a foe or an insult, you reduce its importance. If a rival spreads a nasty rumor about you, reacting angrily only gives it credibility and signals the rumor hurt you. But if you publicly ignore it or respond with a light joke, you rob the rumor of power. Queen Elizabeth I was a master of this. She faced many provocations, even public criticism of her as a female ruler, but she would often address them with a smile or a cryptic line and then move on, projecting that she was above such concerns. This made her appear invincible to attacks. By refusing to acknowledge provocations or things you can't attain, you elevate yourself. It's the best revenge because it denies satisfaction to your enemies and maintains your composure. Like a king who doesn't stoop to argue with a heckler in the crowd, you stand tall and let the small things bounce off you. With that, we conclude Part 3. You've seen how bold action, strategic planning, psychological insight, and even the power of pretending all contribute to dominating your environment. From here, power players move to the highest tier, mastery, where power becomes deeply entrenched and almost untouchable. In Part 4, we'll explore laws 37 to 48, the final stretch, and learn how to become truly elusive and unbeatable in the game of power.